everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Phyllis, and here on my channel I share DIYs, home decor, Goodwill, thrift hauls, and more. And if this is your first time stopping by, thank you, and please consider subscribing. If you like what you see, give it a thumbs up, and I would love to read your comments. And don't forget to share this video with your friends and family. In today's video, I will be sharing with you how I will be covering this chair using drop cloth and tacks, Dollar Tree tacks instead of nail heads. And the drop cloth I ordered from Amazon. Here is what the chair looked like after I completed it. After completing this, I decided I will not tackle another chair. I have two. The other one I think I'm just going to buy a cover because this was a challenge. Not so much the front and the back and the part that you lean against, but the arms because of going over the curves. And I will share that with you down in the video. So if you're interested in seeing how I put this together, then just keep watching. I want to thank you all for stopping by. Now let's get started with this DIY. I purchased this canvas drop cloth from Amazon, and it is the 9 feet by 12 feet. It looks somewhat of a tan on the camera, but it's not. It's supposed to be what you call gray-white. And there's not even a speck of white in this. I wanted something white or off-white, but this is the closest that they had. If you think of the paint dove gray, that's what this looks like to me. And painting the legs black. On here they look black, but they're not. It's espresso brown. And I'm going to be doing this the same way that I did my daughter's sectional. I'll put that video in my description box. For some that did not see it, it's a 3-part video, 2 Ottomans, the Chaise part of her sectional, and the love seat part of her sectional, using drop cloth and just a glue gun. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. First, I'm going to disassemble the bottom of the chair. Okay, what I'm doing here is I laid the fabric all the way out and I just cut it in half all the way down. I did no kind of measuring whatsoever for the chair. I just made sure I had enough by eye, visually, to know that I had enough to cover it. I'm basically covering this chair the same way that I did my daughter's sectional. I just laid the fabric out and I cut it. I laid it on the chair. I pinned it under, tucked it under, smoothed it out, whatever I needed to smooth out, and then I just used the glue gun. So that's what you see me doing here. I laid the fabric out and just cut it straight up. What I want to share is that this drop cloth is very thin. I would not recommend using this to cover your furniture. I'm covering my chair because it's just me. I'm the one that's sitting in, and this chair that I'm covering is going to sit in my office. And I sit in my chair in my office when I watch TV after sitting at my desk uploading and editing my video for so many hours. I just get tired of sitting at my chair that's at the desk. So I'm just going to be using this chair to sit in my office. But again, I would not recommend purchasing this canvas. I will leave a link in my description box if you'd like to order it, because it is good for curtains and covering pillows, but definitely not for upholstery, something that you're going to be actively sitting on. The canvas that I used for my daughter's sectional is perfect because it's thicker and it has a backing that is durable. This has no lining, even on the cover. The cardboard piece that tells you the size, none of the boxes are checked to say that is durable, and it is correct. It's not durable for sitting on. It is perfect to make drapes or pillow covers. So I'm showing here the piece that I cut. I'm getting ready to lay it over the chair. So I'm working right now on the seat part where you sit, the back part connected to the seat, the part that you lean against, and then this back part here that you're looking at. So what I'm doing is laying it out, and then I'm going to turn both ends or sides, I'll put it like that, the 2 sides. And what I'm going to end up doing after discovering what I'm doing here, to make sure that it lays flat, I'm going to be sharing with you here that I decide to iron the two sides first so that it can lay flat when I pin it. I think I'm going to iron before I glue because I want it to be close to perfect as possible. Okay, so I ironed a seam and I turned it under twice because I wanted it to be straight. I also ironed a seam on this side, and what I did was I just pinched the two corners, and here followed it down and put a straight pin because I'm going to put the glue right here along the seam. I'm just explaining here that I'll be putting glue along under the side where I'm pointing, and right here, which is the back where the legs are going to be, and I'll be cutting away excess fabric so the material won't be in the way of the legs. So here I'm taking the pins out because I've already glued both back sides and underneath where the legs are going to be, and I'm getting ready to sit the chair up so that I can now do some tucking in, which I'm going to be explaining here. And I'm also going to put in a clip of where I recorded explaining how I am tucking and gluing the canvas in on the front part where you lean your back when you're sitting in the chair, and the seat part. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck it. Fit it to where I'll bring you over so you can see what I'm doing. I'm happy to see if I can turn it around. So, I'm going to turn it under. Actually, I'm going to see how much I can tuck in, which is none on the side. I can't tuck in, so I have to fold it in and glue it. But I can tuck down in here. So let me get it to fit perfectly. And all I'm doing is pulling the seam in. Trying to get you where you want to see. So I'm trying to put my hand under here and just pulling some excess fabric just so that I can glue it right there. Make sure that the fabric is not all that excess. I want to see that. Hold it. Let's see. And I've never covered one of these chairs, so I'm feeling my way through. So I'm in my bedroom closet, so just ignore all of that back there. Looks like a shoe store. I'm going to get rid of all of that, but that's not what this video is about. I will be doing a closet makeover video soon in the coming months, but I wanted to share what I'm doing when tucking in the material or the drop cloth in the chair, because I notice when I'm watching the video as I'm editing it, I'm kind of blocking what I'm doing. So here's the second chair. I'm not covering this one because, like I said in the beginning of, of that video, it was just too much work when it came to doing this. But if you noticed, I can put my finger, see if I can bring it closer. I can put my fingers in here, and I have a lot of room in here and a lot of room on the sides to tucking the fabric in. So that's what I'm doing. I'm tucking the fabric in. I even have a little bit of room in here going all the way up. Let me see if I can bring it back some more. I have plenty of room back here, plenty of room here on the sides, and enough room here to where I can put the glue and push the fabric and smooth it out, as well as putting glue down here and tucking it and smoothing it, you know, as I go. So when covering this chair, this part and this part, as well as the back of the chair, is very easy because it's just straight and flat. So I just took one long strip of that canvas and just covered. I took the legs off. I was able to go up under here and then bring it up, and I was tucking it down. I was turning the ends and tucking it on the sides, as well as up here and here, and then I just let it drop in the back, smoothing it out to make sure it's perfect first before I put the glue. When I got it, you know, folded over, when I got the edges folded over, I was able to just push the cushion over and just put glue in the sides and just drop. You just kind of push it and let the glue take hold of the canvas, of the fabric, and it's permanent. So I'm saying that because when I sit, the material doesn't move. I've already sat in my chair. The video that you're watching now, I'm doing this part, showing you what I'm doing. This is like 2 weeks after I recorded that video, because I have several videos that I record and then I sit down and just edit. So I've sat in that chair now for the past 2 weeks in my office. After I sit in my office for so long editing, I get tired. I just get out of my office chair, and sit down and just watch my television. So it doesn't, after sitting on it, the fabric does not come up, because I made sure I had enough tucked down on the back and the sides, and then it glued, and I made sure it adhered to the sides and to the inside back of this. Another thing, when I did glue it, I made sure to just let it just sit for a whole day, for like 24 hours before I actually started using the chair. But I thought I'd come and share what I was doing, because I noticed when I was editing the video today, which today is November the 12th of 2022, yes, and I did that video like the beginning of November, and I'm just getting to the editing part of it. I noticed when I was recording it, I was kind of in the front, so you really couldn't see what I was doing. So that's why I thought I'd stop and I shared this part of what I was doing when I was tucking in the canvas. So I'm going to get back into my office and finish editing the video. And again, I have this in my closet. Ignore this. I am trying to clear out my closet, which is taking me time, so that I can just make this a closet, in-home store closet for my stuff, since I don't work anymore. So let's get back to the video. I think my challenge is going to be this part, but we gotta keep trucking along here. And what I need to do is cut the excess. And it's more than enough to go up under. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, about the back button, I'm going to turn this up, do that, and then I'll glue in the sides. So now I'm going to just tuck it under and put the glue right there. I just want to make sure it's nice and snug. I'm going to cut this and then glue it and then come back when it's done. Okay, I glued it on the bottom, trimmed it and tucked it. So now I just have to, I'm so sorry, it's not heavy, it's just loose. Alright, so make sure that this is dry. Okay, I'm going to turn around so you can see. I'm working on my kitchen island. I'm planning on turning one of my rooms into my craft room. I've been working on my kitchen island for the past, how long have I been on YouTube? 4 years. The past 4 years. Doing things, DIYs. Okay. So now this is tucked in there. This is tucked in there. I just have to put glue. This here. I'm just trying to smooth out things because I don't want any buckling. Let me just do it this way. So this is that part. Now, like I said, this won't be showing because I'm going to put some fabric right on there. I'm going to put glue in here and lay the fabric and just turn it over. And then this here is easy because, like I said, I can get my hand in there. I'm past, my hand goes right up to here. So that's enough to put, to bring it apart and put glue in there and tuck fabric down. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be something simple that I can do. Like I said, I left some seam allowance open. I left some seam allowance more open on the other side than I did this side, but it's still enough to put fabric in there and glue it down. Just got to figure out how to do this curve. Just gonna think here a little bit. When I figure it out, I'll bring you all back on. Okay, oh, focus please. All right, so I have glued, I brought this up just a little bit so I can have some extra seam allowance to turn it down, but I've glued this on like this so that I can flip it. Excuse me. And it can look like this here, and it's covering this. So what I have to do now is just cut the excess off here, and then I have a strip to go along this edge. But I'm gonna do the strip last because that's what they did with this here. They did the side and then the inside and put the strip to cover the raw edge. So once I get this glued under here, and around the arm, then I'll come back. Okay, this was a challenge to figure this out. What I did was I covered this side, and then I made a band to kind of imitate this here. If you can see that, imitate this band to go there, which is what I did. I just got it pinned right now to cover what I folded over. And because there's a curve here, whenever you have a curve, and you have excess fabric, it won't conform to the curve. So you snip wherever the curve is. That's why I have this laying, so I can trace it and put it on the underside. So let me sit the chair up so I can show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so as I said, I have this laying on here because I'm going to trace this entire side of the arm to use it for the underside, but I'm going to sit it up. It's a good thing this thing is not heavy. I'll just take this fabric off right now while I'm explaining. So what I did was I took a piece of fabric and I covered this entire side and I turned it over. Okay, so when I turned it over, when I took the fabric and bent it over the arm, it wouldn't lay flat. It wouldn't lay flat to the curve. So I had to clip. For those that know about sewing, whenever you say like you're sewing a dress or a shirt that has a sleeve, the pattern will tell you to clip wherever the curves are. I'm going to cut the shape of this by laying it on its side like I just showed you with this extra fabric. And I'm going to use that to tuck down, to lay on here to cover this whole side, and glue in here and there, and then put the excess up under here. This was just a band that I created to emulate this. So let me get this finished and then I'll come back. Okay, I'm finally finished this side, and I decided to glue it, but I made sure I had enough to where I can go inside and you can't even see it. And it's the same on this side, and I took my time. And there's that piece, and I had to do this because I ended up cutting this too short where it came up to here. No, on here. And I had enough tucked in to where I could bring it out and glue it. And I made sure that it was neat, you know, when it meet at the peak up there. So that's what I'm gonna have to do to this side. Let this come out some when I put the fabric in on here. But this thing, just the arm alone, I'm gonna say this arm took me about, and I'm not exaggerating, it's 3:13. I remember looking at the thing, clock, and it was like 1:30. It almost took me 2 hours to do this, and see how this came off a little bit. But I like the way it looks, but again, I would not recommend using this to cover upholstery because the fabric is so thin. If you snag it, you could get a hole in it. But for my first chair, not my sectional, and I have to say the sectional that I did for my daughter was a lot easier than covering the arm of this chair, because the sectional is just a square and a rectangle. But going around the curve of this, oh my God, this was a monster. But I like the way it turned out. So here it is, I'm working on the other side, and I really goofed up on this part. I cut the piece that overlay too short to where it didn't cover that. So now I had to cut another piece to glue here, and I have to glue it some kind of way up here. I just cut it too short. Well, this is what really messed up. I just cut this here too short. I didn't go over the whole thing. So I'm having to do it so I can cover the arm up there. And doing that, I had to do this, had to glue this piece, but I'm going to flatten it down. And because it's on the inside, you'll see it, but I prefer it to be on the inside of the arm instead of the outside here. So I'm going to do that now, and then I got to make the band to go on this side. So we're almost at the end of this video. Here I'm painting the base and the legs of the chair, and then coming up you'll see I'll be applying Dollar Tree thumbtacks. I chose to use Dollar Tree thumbtacks because I didn't want to spend a whole lot of money on upholstery tacks for what I'm calling a cheap DIY project, because the fabric is so thin and I didn't want to put a lot of money in the tacks. So this is my cheap way out, my inexpensive way out of doing something to try to give it a high-end look, and I love the way it turned out. This is what I've done so far. So I'm going from side to side. Oh, and I'm looking at the camera. I need to move this here over some. Trying to make it go up as straight as possible, and then that's a good reason for looking in this camera too. I can see what's off, so I have to move that one over and then move that one over, and then this is dried. So I'm going to finish this, and then I will come back when it is actually completed, because this is going to take me a couple of hours. Okay, so here's the chair all finished. So you remember when I said I goofed, and I had to bring this up to where it would meet? So to kind of make both sides look the same, I had to cut a piece of fabric to go on this side and I just glued it on top. This is just trying to copy this side since I made a mistake on this side. I'm gonna let you get back to see. So you see how this is going up, So that's what I had to do, because this side actually was the mistake where I cut it too short and didn't have enough to cover that hump. Well, I had to just cut a piece of fabric here and just glue it here to emulate this side. The only thing is this is kind of curving a little bit, and then this side is straight. But all in all, I like the way it turned out. I will not be tackling anything like this again. Because, I mean, I know what I would need to do to make it better, to make it easier, but it's not something that I want to do. And again, these are just thumbtacks. They can easily come out. And again, this is just sitting in my office, and this is just a chair that I sit in to watch my TV when I'm tired of sitting at my desk in my work chair. And this is just something that I want to try out to see if I could do this. And I'm pretty sure if I were to do it again, I would find an easier way to try to cover the arms. But I like the way it turned out. So if this is your first time visiting my channel, I want to thank you for stopping by. And if you like what you saw here today, please consider subscribing. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. I would love to read your comments, and don't forget to share this video with your friends and family. And for my faithful subscribers and viewers, thank you so much for your viewing support. And again, I want to thank you all for stopping by. JRC Restoration, Decor, and Designs. Thank you so much for watching JRC Restoration, Decor, and Designs. And remember, the distance between your dreams and reality is called action. So until next time, make it a blessed and productive day, everyone. Bye-bye.